Hey guys, how is everybody doing? And today I'm going to be giving you my thoughts on The Punisher One Last Kill. Now, before I even get into my thoughts about this special, now this has been a special that I have been looking forward to for a while now, ever since they announced it. I think they announced it like a little bit after Daredevil Born Again season one ended. They announced that they would be doing a Punisher special for Disney Plus, and if I'm not mistaken, I believe this is the third special they have done because I believe the other specials that they did was the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special and the Werewolf by Night one, which I also really enjoyed. And so I believe that now with the release of this is now Marvel's third special presentation that they've made. And so far I'm really enjoying these special presentations that they're doing. I feel like they're a lot of fun and they're nice little one-hit wonders type thing. And like I said, this has been a special I've been looking forward to ever since they announced it because I am a huge Punisher fan, especially John Bernthal's depiction of the character. Now, this has always been a character that I've really enjoyed and always a character that I've loved. I really love his comic run. My introduction to this character was the Thomas Jane film with John Travolta. That has always been a film I really enjoyed. I know a lot of people don't like it, but I've always enjoyed it. I've always really, that was my introduction to the character. And before I watched Daredevil, that was my Punisher for the longest time. And then I watched Punisher, and then John Bernthal became my favorite. But yeah, this has been something I've been looking forward to for a while. I love John Bernthal's take on this character. I really love what he does with him, and I really liked what they, teased with him at the end of Born Again season one, where he was locked up and then he escaped or whatever. And I was really excited to see where they were going to go with that. And so, not to kind of spoil my thoughts on it. After watching the special, I do have a lot of thoughts on it. And, one word I would say to describe the special as of right now is unsatisfied. But before I even get into my thoughts about that, here are my positives on Punisher One Last Kill. And I was just talking about him. John Bernthal's performance in this special was absolutely amazing. This John Bernthal has always loved this character. Always has done his best for this character. I think that everyone on Earth will tell you that John Bernthal was made for this character, and he's probably the one person on this world that really understands this character and will really go as far as he wants to get this character right because he even talked about that he said he didn't want to do Daredevil Born Again season 1 because he didn't like what they were doing with the character. He doesn't think of this character as a simple paycheck. He actually works for this character and actually puts love into this character. And from this special and his performance in the special alone really proves that. I feel like on the emotional level he is phenomenal. Because we've always seen the emotional level of this character and always seen, the anger from this character, but this special seems to really dive in to the emotional side of Frank because there's like a moment where he's sitting at the grave of his daughter and his wife. I almost said his mother, and his wife, and he's sitting there and he's just talking to him and he just breaks down to tears and basically almost commits suicide because he's like, I'm tired and I don't want to move on and I don't want to keep going anymore, and he almost kills himself, and then he sees a hallucination of his daughter, and that performance alone, that whole little sequence was amazing from him. And he doesn't even really have many lines of dialogue in the special. His whole performance is just body language, and that's kind of what this character has always been, and that's what John has always done with this character. Has always presented his character with body language. He does it with actions and emotional beats. He never really has many. He doesn't really talk all that much, especially in the special. He maybe has maybe half a page full of dialogue throughout the whole thing. He does not talk all that much, and that shows how powerful of a performance that he had in the special when he only really used body language, and I loved that. And I really and just to see just to see him come back into the MCU to play this character again has just been amazing. We saw him come back in Born Again season 1, and now he has his own special, and the next time we're going to see him is in Brand New Day and Spider-Man in July. And so I'm hoping after that we get to see more of him because I really love this character. I really love John as this character, and this is one of the best comic book castings we've had in a long time. So I do hope after Spider-Man we do see more of John as Punisher. There is not anything announced as of right now for this character other than Spider-Man, but I'm hoping after that we get more of him because his performance in this and just the love that he has for this character is just amazing to me. Also, before anyone asks, yes, I broke my finger. Most embarrassing way possible, too. So, no, I wasn't jerking off. Okay, I was, but it didn't break because of that. But yeah, I broke my finger. And this is something I kind of expected from this special and especially from Punisher. When we got the behind the scenes, I already knew this was gonna be great. But the action in this special was awesome. The action doesn't really start happening until like the last 20 minutes or so of this special, which is only like 44 minutes long, which I'll get into that later. But the action that we do again in the last 20 minutes of this special was awesome, and most of it seemed to be it seemed to have been done in like one take. There's like a little scene where he's at the apartment complex and he's just fighting all these dudes in the hall in this little apartment complex. And if I'm not mistaken, it looked mostly done in one shot, which was very impressive. And when you get a Punisher movie, TV show, or special, you already know there's going to be a lot of blood and there's going to be a lot of action, a lot of fighting, and a lot of dudes getting fucked up. That's what this character is always known for, and I think that's why a lot of us psychos really like him. And obviously it delivers. They did an amazing job in this special at delivering the action and the violence that we all expected. The action from the last 20 minutes was awesome and it was a lot of fun, especially just seeing him fuck dudes up. It'll kind of have you like smiling the whole time, or else you're sensitive to violence. I guess you'll be squirming a little bit. But for me, someone who's used to it and someone who, expects it from the Punisher, it was awesome. And I was just kind of, I was watching this in class, if I'm completely honest. So I was kind of just sitting there, like, just smiling the whole time. So no one could see me, but you know, it's Punisher, so I don't know what you expect. And I also really dug the setting that they went for in this special. They kind of did this little lower part of New York that's like crime filled with a bunch of like drug addicts, homeless, you know, excuse me, and people that are like low on money and basically have to live in a shithole just to provide for their kids and just have a place to live so they're not out on the streets. I really like that setting, and it really made it feel like that dark tone that the special is going for, which I will get into later for sure. And I really enjoyed it. And it's not like throughout like a whole city or whatever. It's just in the small little area where there's just a shit apartment, a coffee shop and places to go, but there's just crime ridden just fucking everywhere. And I really like that. And I really like that because it showed off the darker tone that this special went for. And the violence of it and the just the ridden that it's going for, which I also kind of have a gripe with it. This whole Sony and Marvel fucking deal thing is really making Spider-Man look bad because I get it that Sony owns the rights to Spider-Man, so technically they can't include Spider-Man into these Marvel shows without their permission unless it's Avengers. And so when that kind of happens and you have shows like Daredevil and now you have a special like this, it makes Spider-Man look bad because you cannot tell me with all the shit that's going on with this homeless dude's dog getting killed and this one dude literally just getting shot in the fucking street, which no one pays attention to. Literally fucking Frank just walks by it like just ignoring it, which that's what he does. And all this other shit going on, and there's literally like a purge sequence going on at the very end of this fucking special. There's no way that Spider-Man wouldn't have done anything.
The shitters didn't even think of other girls.
Because apparently this special takes place like right after, or not right after, during the events of season 2 of Born Again. So, I kind of sit around and wonder, I'm like, this is making Spider-Man look bad. I kind of had a gripe with that just a little bit. Like, there's no way Spider-Man exists in this fucking world. But anyways, excluding that, not, and if you don't even pay attention to that, I really enjoyed the setting. It really matches what this character is about and really matches what this is going for, especially when you escape from, a cage and you have to go hiding from Fisk. There's not a lot of options where they're going to try and find you, but it works. And, kind of continuing off of that, I really loved this darker tone, emotional beat that they went for in this special because you feel a lot of the emotions that they are presenting in this special, where whether it's mental health, the loss of a loved one, you know, having to live in a shitty place and there's just so much crime going around with you. This is probably one of the more emotional projects I have seen from the MCU where they really went for that dark tone and they really made you feel the emotional beats that they went for. Like in the opening, there's just an old man that's homeless and he's just walking down the street and he has a little dog. It's cute. And then all of a sudden he's just like getting jumped by this group and they kidnap the dog, which you're like, oh, maybe they'll just steal it. But no, they throw it in the street and they fucking kill it. And that really made me feel uncomfortable when I was watching it because I was watching them like, oh, Jesus Christ. Like that made me feel uncomfortable and that made me feel sad in a way. And then like when the scene when the guy just gets shot in the fucking street, you're like, Jesus Christ, like and the performance of the girl that's trying to stop him, like you don't even see her, you just hear her screams, and it's fucking terrifying if you ask me. Like the emotional beats and the dark tone that they have in this special, I really loved that. Especially for Marvel and the MCU, because Marvel and the MCU doesn't really do these dark projects. I mean, they got Daredevil and Deadpool and stuff like that, but Deadpool isn't like overly dark violence. It's more of just humor. Like it's violent, but they have humor involved with it. And Daredevil, it's not like overly violent or whatever. They're just fighting people, and they just have that dark tone. But this really fucking pushes the level of people getting killed, and make you feel uncomfortable, which they should because this is a not Daredevil, Punisher project, and that's what they should be going for. And thankfully, they did that. I really liked that they went for that in this project and really made you feel like that. And the director that made this also made the King Richard film with Will Smith, which ended up winning an Oscar. And John Bernthal was also in that film, so maybe that was the reason he was part of this project. But nevertheless, and with him as a director, you can definitely feel that maybe he had a say in that, and I'm glad he did. So yeah, I really love how the emotional beats you felt in this, and just the dark tone that they went for. That just it kind of shocked me that this is in the MCU now. Like you got to remember, this isn't Netflix anymore. This is like the MCU shit, and I fucking love that. And my final positive is I really love the commentary on mental health in this project, which, we all know Frank's story about his family getting killed and how it weighs on him mentally, and, he's not in the right place anymore. And, it has a good commentary on mental health because he kind of sits alone and he like cries and says, I need help to himself. Like he talks to himself because he has no one. He literally has fucking no one. He's all by himself and he sees like hallucinations of his daughters, his wife, his, fellow comrades from war. And there's even a scene where he sees Karen at one point, because that just shows how lonely he is because he starts hallucinating that Karen's there because those two have a great friendship as we learn in Daredevil and even in the Punisher show, which I'll completely admit I don't really care for. I love Punisher, but that show is just not for me. I don't really like what they do. And, I haven't even finished season one because I just flat out stopped caring what they were doing. But nevertheless, um, and for someone personally, I have gone through mental health issues. I've talked about that multiple times on my channel. And, I've gone through it. It's not a fun time, and I couldn't imagine anything that he goes through. Like what I went through was nothing compared to Frank. And just I can relate to the mental health side of it, but I can't relate to fucking losing my family. But yeah, I really appreciate the commentary and I felt like they did a really good job on that, which they always do when they do a Punisher project. So I really liked the commentary that they did in this special. And now moving on to my negatives, I'm just gonna say this right now. I might end up sounding more negative on this special than positive because I do have a couple negatives. But I want to say this now. I really enjoyed the special. I really did, and I really enjoyed it, and I really hope we get to see a continuation of this. But nevertheless, but my first negative is where this special kind of lost me in the beginning a little bit, but I was still interested. But we seem to be stuck on the origin story stuff for Frank so far. because they continue to show his origin and talk about why he's the way he is and why he does what he does, and talks about losing his family and the damage that it does to him, which I get it. Like, losing your family is never going to be easy. Like, you're never going to get over that, especially the way they died. You're never going to get over that. And I get it. That's the point of the character. But at some point, we have to realize that we need to move on from that and we need to pursue other parts of this character and have him go on and do other things instead of focusing on the loss of his family, which I get it. Again, when you lose your family, you're never just going to forget that. You're never just going to get over that. But good God, man, we have done this so many times with Daredevil season one. Daredevil season two, The Punisher season one, The Punisher season two. Hell, you can even say Born Again season one because they kind of include that in here. And now we have this. We have done his origin and shown his family dying like 5 different times. It's almost nearly as equivalent to Batman, where any new Batman project that comes out, it always begins with Batman's parents dying, the pearl necklace breaking and falling, and how it hurt Bruce Wayne growing up, and how it damages him mentally as well. But at the same time, this is why I love Matt Reeves' The Batman movie, is that it doesn't show that and just jumps into the action, which a lot of Batman movies anymore, they just continue to show Batman's parents dying. Like, we fucking get it. We've seen this so many times, and everyone and their mother knows it. And it's equivalent to Frank now. Everyone knows he lost his family. Everyone knows that it weighs on him mentally. You don't have to keep fucking reminding us that that's going on. Which I get it. You're not just gonna get over that, but at the same time, you kind of have to sit around and wonder and being like, what are we doing? And why aren't we moving past this? Because it feels like we're not moving on, and it still feels like we're on page one of a comic panel. Like, say you're reading a Punisher comic and you're just stuck on page one, watching his family die, and you haven't gotten to the next page because it isn't there yet, and that's incredibly frustrating. And so I'm hoping that if we do get a continuation of this and a new Punisher show, something similar to Born Again, like Daredevil Born Again. If we get something similar to that with the Punisher, maybe I'll be more forgiving. But we have not gotten that announcement yet, and the next thing that we're getting from this character is Spider-Man. And I'm hoping after Spider-Man we get something new out of him because I want to move on from this. I want to see him do other things and try and do other things. Maybe I'll get that out of the show because I have not finished the original show. But from what I've seen, it just doesn't seem like we're moving on from that. So I'm hoping if we do get a new Punisher show, we move on from this because we have been doing this ever since we fucking got introduced to John as Punisher. And here's my problem when I say unsatisfied. This is a 44-minute special, which is pretty much just equivalent to an episode of Daredevil Born Again, which they basically kind of treated this. They treated it like a DLC to Born Again. This felt unfinished. This felt like it left me unsatisfied, and it left me with a sour taste in my mouth because we get the introduction of this one character of, I forget her name, but she basically got her whole family killed because of Frank, because her family had something to do with the death of Frank's family, so she got revenge and killed them, and now she wants revenge on Frank for killing her family. And we get that. She does this whole montage like, oh, my son, my husband, my daughter, yada, yada, yada. And now I'm going to set out a bounty and kill you. And you're like, oh, sweet. That's what it probably means by one last kill, is that that's the last person he has to kill before, fully avenging his family. Maybe that'll be the ending of the special. Nope. The ending of the special is him just stopping everyone trying to kill him in that apartment complex. And we don't get the conclusion of him possibly killing her. And we don't get the conclusion to that little storyline yet. And that's why I'm hoping we get a new TV show or another special of this character, some sort of continuation off of this, because that felt unfinished. And that felt like we didn't finish what we just introduced. And that, because by the time it was over, I'm like, okay, I liked it, but what about this and what about that? It just felt unfinished because the first 20 minutes kind of just waste time, like I just talked about, showing Frank's origin and just, showing us that we already know about Frank. And then the last 20 minutes is just pure carnage and blood, which I'm not going to complain about that. But at the same time, I'm kind of sitting around and I'm like, okay, but I still feel like there's something here that you should have done, to where I'm kind of bummed that this didn't turn into a movie. Like, I genuinely want Marvel to make a Punisher film, and you easily could, but they decided to make this and hopefully set up a new TV show. Which, if we're not getting a TV show, I would like a movie at least. I wanted some sort of continuation because this just felt unfinished. It left me unsatisfied, and that's where I feel like I was really disappointed. And since I bring that up with the first 20 minutes just focusing on his origin again, that kind of made me feel like we didn't get to see full Punisher. And we didn't get to see Frank as Punisher. We just saw Frank. We didn't see the Punisher. And we didn't really see Punisher until the last 20 minutes of this, which, maybe not bother many people. It's like, oh, I got for 20 minutes. That's more than enough for me or whatever. But for me, I'm like, yeah, well, I want to see him more. I want to see him fuck up more people. I want to see him I want him to fight other guys. But I don't know. Maybe I'm on an island with that because we don't see him in the full Punisher suit until like literally the last 3 minutes of the special, and that kind of bummed me out because again, I don't know what we're going to get from this character after Spider-Man, and I'm hoping that we get more of him because we're getting a lot of Daredevil. I'm very happy about that. I don't know how many seasons Born Again's going to go for, but hopefully it goes on for a while because we're getting season 3 next year, and who knows what that's going to end up. Where that's going to end up, so to where hopefully we get a season 4, or maybe we get some sort of continuation. I have no idea, but I want to see more of this character. And so when I didn't get to see much of the Punisher and I only got to see Frank, that kind of just left another sour taste in my mouth. But overall, guys, I really enjoyed this special. I really enjoyed what they did with this character, and this is a very promising start to see where they're going to bring this character into the MCU after his appearance in Born Again Season 1, and now with this, and hopefully I'm excited to see him in Spider-Man, but at the same time, I don't know what that's going to look like. But hopefully, it's good and to where I'm satisfied. But overall, I really enjoyed this. I feel like if you're a Punisher fan, definitely check it out, especially for the action at the end of it alone. Maybe you'll have the same thoughts. Maybe you'll feel like the same unsatisfaction as I did. But I still really enjoyed it, even with all that to aside. But I really enjoyed this. If you are a Punisher fan, if you're a John Bernthal fan of this character, definitely check this out. Well, what did you guys think about the Punisher One Last Kill? Did you like it or did you not like it? And did you even check it out? Let me know in the comments below and we shall talk about it. If you like this video, like it. If you love it, subscribe with the notifications so you will get notified for all of my latest videos. And until my next video, see you all next time.